Why is it after every episode I'm like, oh my gosh, how did I not know about this? How come I'm not doing this already?
Well,
There's just so much to learn.
I was going to say, we know a lot, but we don't know everything.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, we know, but the holistic health industry is just really growing with different people finding different ways.
Absolutely.
Tired of everything else.
Exactly. Yeah.
Past the fire, past the sounds. Moonshine through the clouds. Saddle up, 'cause there's no stopping me now.
Good day and welcome to another exciting episode. What do we call this?
Living well together.
Big life in a small town.
Yeah.
You always think I'm not going to remember.
No, you're getting better and better at it after 76 episodes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But today,
Super fortunate today. Well, last week we were going to have somebody on and the schedule got shifted a little bit.
Yep.
So we had to kind of,
yeah.
wing it a little.
Yeah, we did
Today,
just a solo episode.
we have somebody winging it with us, though.
Yeah.
This is winging it.
Yes. This is Tori Howard. She is the owner of...
Well, I am the owner of Just Breathe Halotherapy Center.
Yes.
I'm also the owner of Salon X, but
Are you
This
really?
is going to be so much fun.
I
Just
know.
popping surprises
minute,
right out of the gate.
it's not in there. It kind of was a package deal.
Yeah. Okay. So what's Salon X?
It used to be a cut above
Okay.
salon, and
Got
then when
it.
I bought it, we had to rename it.
Got it.
So it's
Okay.
just a hair salon.
And then-
that is also part of the building.
Okay. And that's where Just Breathe lives?
That's where Just Breathe is.
Okay. And are they like your clients go to both places?
Some do, yes.
That is so fun.
so
well, tell us
keeps
a
us
little
busy.
bit about Just Breathe, though. I'm so fascinated by it.
Have you ever done halotherapy?
No.
Okay.
You're going to have to start with the definition.
And don't you love the
is
name
that?
Halo Therapy? Like
Okay,
it seems
so-
so
Well, actually, can we back up a little bit before we get to this?
To the-
Because
what
I want to
the
know how a
definition
person
is?
even gets to that stage of the game. And we know you're a school teacher prior in your previous life.
My kids like to say I'm retired. I say I'm too old for that.
too old to be retired.
If you're an entrepreneurial things, there's no such thing as retirement.
Yes, exactly.
Like that's never going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But prior to your entrepreneurial endeavors, you work for the government.
As a teacher.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, government paycheck.
So I taught English as a second language
Okay.
for 3 years. And then I transitioned into teaching first grade.
Local here in the Miami Valley?
Yes, Beaver Creek.
Well, that's pretty local.
Yes. And I taught first grade for 13 years.
Okay.
I bet you
made
have
it-
some cool stories about first
Boy,
graders.
I don't know how many are appropriate at all.
Actually, they're all appropriate.
That's okay.
But
Yeah.
we were saying that kids just say whatever they want. And I'll never
Right.
forget the day that I'm always changing my hair color. And I went a lot darker than
Yeah.
what I usually was, especially that school year. And a little girl walked in and she just was staring at me and she said, "Did you make your hair more brown?" And I said, "I did." And she said, "Don't ever do that again."
And this is first grade?
Noted. So yeah, they
Oh
were
my
a lot
gosh,
of fun.
that
They
is
were fun.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Did you ever go dark again?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All over the place.
You don't take hair advice from a first grader. You do what you want.
Not that year. I didn't. We'll
Yeah.
just say I didn't do it that year. But
Little booger eaters. You don't take advice on everything.
But first grade is such a fun year.
oh, they're a lot. The growth that they make is fantastic.
Yeah.
So
And
So-
yet, you're not doing that anymore.
Yeah, you made a leap.
I did. So COVID year.
Yeah.
The shutdown was really hard. First graders aren't used to being taught online.
Yeah.
So that made it really tricky. And then coming back was even trickier. And I just didn't.
Because they had to wear a face mask.
We had to do masks. We had to socially distance. We had to report. If someone was out, then we had to. These kids had to be out and
All
teach
backed by
online.
science, by the way. All scientifically sound.
Definitely.
100%.
So I just didn't love it.
Yeah.
So my husband has owned a business for a really long time. His dad passed away and we inherited additional business and he was kind of drowning. So it was just time to leave teaching for a while.
What kind of businesses was he?
We have real estate.
All right.
We flip houses and apartments and rentals and all of that fun stuff.
Super fun.
Yeah. So I did that for a little while with him and I just needed something my own.
Yes. Yes.
So then we got the inevitable virus of some sort. And
Whatever that is.
Unknown
Yeah.
origin. It does not come from China.
And my husband just couldn't get rid of the cough. And I don't know, probably at least 15, 20 years, we've sought everything alternative.
Okay.
The drugstore is our last stop kind of
Yeah.
thing. So I said, hey, I keep hearing about this salt therapy. We should try salt therapy.
For respiratory stuff?
Yes.
Yes.
So he went and within 24 hours started feeling better. So then we all started going and it just, spiraled. Just spending all of our money going every week.
Hey, did you guys go to like the same room?
Yes.
So
So
you went
the
and
place
hung
we
out?
were going had one big room where we could all go.
Okay.
So then we just started talking more and more about it
Yeah.
and researching and praying and
Right.
here we are.
Oh my gosh, that's so
love all of that.
exciting. I love all of that too. Because it worked for you guys and you're like, we need more people to know about
Yes.
this. And we
Yes.
can offer this to our community.
Definitely.
So it became a purposeful passion.
Absolutely. And then it became quite an adventure.
Yes.
Because I said, okay, if we're going to do this, let's set a timeline that let's say within this many months. So I said, okay, within 2 months, if we don't find a building, because, that's what we do is real estate.
Right.
So leasing is just not an option with my husband.
Yeah. Yes.
So his
Gotta
best
have that
friend,
in here too.
you would need longer than an hour.
See a chatterbox?
Yes. So his best friend is a realtor. I contacted him and said, hey, here's what I'm looking for. I've been trying to look on my own. I'm not having much luck. He called me within 2 days and said, meet me on Sunday. Don't say a word because it's not public knowledge that this building is going up for sale. So we made an offer and within a week we had a building.
Wow.
So you didn't buy the place you were going to. You created a new space.
So the building itself was there. It's kind of an L-shaped building.
Okay.
And the back part was not being used much.
Okay.
There was a way to restructure everything to keep the salon. So all the ladies that were already there could continue to work there.
Yeah.
We just kind of improved that space a little bit and then rebuilt the back half of the building to be ours.
That's amazing.
So what's easier, managing first graders or managing hairstylists?
Now it's
Never mind.
now it's really easy. At
Okay.
the beginning, it was a little tricky, but change is hard for some. So
Of course.
yeah.
Yeah, it's true. But I'm sure that you made it a lovely transition.
yeah, it's nice now.
What year was that?
So we bought the building in January of 24,
Okay.
and then so the salon stayed, and then we opened Just Breathe in September of last year. Wow.
So it all so did it fit your timeline? When you said that you wanted a building by 2 months and then
Somewhat.
Okay.
So if I got the building, I wanted to try to be open by June.
Okay.
But the building itself the building was trickier than what we expected. So
trickier,
Because
needed
there's
more
codes
work.
and regulations.
Yeah.
and-
Well, there's that, but it's also the money pit.
Yeah.
Like the movie, we say that a lot.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh gosh.
So we just had to invest more into that than we originally expected, but that was
Yeah.
okay. It's
Yeah. Because
That's the nice thing about
part
money.
of it.
You can always make more.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's plenty. It's not
And
like
then we
there's a
just
shortage.
keep pouring it back into the building.
Right.
Eventually, we won't have to do that, but
Was it fun building out the Just Breathe space?
it was. That part was really fun. I worked with a company that helped lay out the space. But for me, we've always been on the rehab side of everything. We come up with the design ourselves.
Okay.
And then we tell people what to do.
Yeah.
Right? We hire contractors. But I wanted to learn how to lay floor and I wanted to do the painting and so that part was really fun. Maybe
So you
that's
did that yourself?
yeah, that's why we probably got pushed to September. No, not really, but
Kind of a remediation class as well as a build out.
yeah. So we learned in the process, but
Did it take you a long time? Were you very particular about the finishes? And was it
No.
no, you just okay. So it wasn't that was any kind of a hold up for you.
no, there were just
Yeah.
some little hiccups but with it because salt can be corrosive.
Yeah.
We had to do a lot with the HVAC system and change that up and a lot of electric
Yeah.
changes. So
And so there was a company that you worked with that
Yes.
helped you to know about like salt rooms and what you would need
yes.
requirement-wise?
I signed up to be part of this program. They have a turnkey program is what they call
Oh,
it.
marvelous. So a franchise kind of a situation?
Yes.
Yeah, perfect.
Somewhat. You purchase the equipment that you need through them.
Okay.
But after that, you're kind of on your own.
Yeah.
They help
Got
you
it.
to get it laid out, organized. Here's educated, and then
Oh, that's fantastic. And then it's yours.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
That sounds like a good situation.
yeah.
And what's the square footage of a place that's called Halotherapy? How big is it?
So, that's a great question. I don't know. We have 3
Well,
rooms.
when you're rolling paint, everything feels bigger.
Yes, and when you're laying floor, yeah. So we have 3 different rooms.
Okay.
So I think that
We're all going, by the way. We're going to have a podcast
Yeah.
day.
Oh,
in
a
the
podcast
day in
we
there?
could set up in there. I'm not sure how all this is going to do with salt.
No, but we've got these little portable mics.
We do have portable mics.
What do you
but maybe,
wear in a salt
how
room?
about if we just go with our the team and
Yeah, we'll bring our staff.
absolutely.
More than
That'd be
one
fun.
time. We'll figure this out.
So we have a big room that we use for larger gatherings.
Okay.
So it has 6 chairs in it, but we have held a whole basketball team in there. So.
Oh, have you really?
Yeah, we can
What
we
basketball
can
team?
rearrange and whatever it needs to be. The Bellbrook High School girls.
Oh, nice.
So they all came
gosh,
with
I
my
bet they
daughter.
loved
So yeah,
Your daughter plays?
yes, she does. All 3 kids play basketball
Do they really?
and keep us extremely busy. So.
Oh yeah.
even
They
imagine.
totally would. So you got it all situated, and then was the salon running the whole time you were
Yes.
remodeling too?
Yes,
Did you
and-
also remodel the salon?
To an extent,
Okay.
I'm very thankful for those ladies.
Yeah.
Because they stuck it out and they
Pretty
still
gracious.
are sticking it out for some things.
Okay.
Yeah.
We just have had some weeks. We had a week in February where the hot water heater we thought was going bad, and then it was really a leak under the basement concrete.
Oh no.
So some of the ladies were bringing in water in buckets so they could still
so they
work.
could still
And,
work.
Yeah, they were very kind through it all. So.
Flexibility.
Yeah, under concrete, that
Adaptability.
makes it really
Oh, and then they were
tricky.
jackhammering while they were working, and that's such a relaxing experience.
But it's behind you now.
Yes, that part's done.
And now you know that you can get through it.
Yeah, we can do it. Everything is manageable.
Yeah, everything is figure outable. Who
Where's
says
it
that?
located?
So we are in Xenia on North Detroit Street.
Okay.
If you know where the hospital is, then you know where we are. So if you turn on the road that goes to the hospital, we're just right there at that intersection.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
for a while, you didn't know it was a salon. It was just an older building with the growth of everything
Yeah.
outside, and you could hardly see the
Got
building. So we
So
did
you
a
did
lot of
outside work
outside
too.
work too. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Marie Forleo. Everything is figure outable.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think on
Sorry.
Detroit Street. If I'm coming into Xenia on 68
Okay.
from here, do I get as far as the courthouse, or do I turn before the
It
courthouse?
would be before that. So I'm trying to think of how you would get there from here. Would you take like Dayton Yellow Springs?
Yeah, Dayton
and
Yellow
turn
Springs,
right?
then over to 68.
Then it would be on the right hand side, way before the courthouse.
I'll figure it out. There's a Mexican restaurant. There's a bicycle shop.
It's before that.
Oh my gosh, donuts across the street.
That's it. Yep.
Before
Speedways
that
on
too.
the
Before all of
corner.
that. Just before Speedway. There's a stoplight.
Is it a house, or did it used to be a
looks
house?
like
Little
a
brick house.
Yes. And there's apartments behind
Yes,
it.
there is. I love that place.
Yeah.
That's
you
a
can
cute
see it
little
now.
spot.
You can see it.
I know where you're at. 100.
Got it all figured out.
Okay, we're coming.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I would love that.
So tell us what halotherapy means exactly.
Okay. Halo is actually hallow.
Hallow. Okay.
Yes, but
As in,
here-
hallowed be thy name.
Yeah, okay, well, that would
I
be
think of
salt.
halo.
Salt be thy name. But hallow is Greek for salt.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, got it.
So it's dry salt therapy
Mm-hmm.
is halotherapy or halotherapy. It's become.
Yeah.
And you are in a room where you just sit and relax.
Yeah.
Most people think that we're there just for the relaxation. That's not.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
No
actually
cell phones, no TV.
that there is no TV in there. Your cell phone is your choice. You of course don't relax as well
No,
if you're
right.
looking at your phone.
Yeah.
But so the purpose is for you to sit and breathe. Hence our name, Just Breathe, because salt is antibacterial, antimicrobial, and anti-inflammatory. So if you think of salt, salt is used medically in all sorts of ways, but that's wet salt therapy. So if you have saline nasal spray or you gargle salt water, in a million different ways you're using salt. So in European countries in the early 1900s, they were finding that people who worked in the salt caves, mining the salt, were not having any sort of health issues from anything respiratory. And they started doing research and they found that it's because they were enveloped in all of this salt. So that is different than what we do because that's underground and they're surrounded by it all the time.
Right.
You hear of salt caves, which you can go sit in, but honestly, it's not doing anything for you unless it has a halo generator.
Okay.
So the halo generator is we put medical grade salt into the halo generator. It grinds the salt and then blows it into the room in microparticles that you are then inhaling.
Okay.
And then
Is it sodium chloride, that salt, or is it something other than?
NaCl salt.
Yeah.
Naturally derived,
Right.
and that it is processed so that it is medical grade. So it takes out all of the impurities.
Yeah.
So can I see, and again, I'm just going to, like, people are going to be like, well, tell me more about that. You're blowing salt into the room. Can I
Yes.
see it? Is it so small that I can't see it?
You can see it if you're in there and you are looking. It's kind of hazy.
Like a little foggy.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. But
Does
after
it
you're
make you want to hold
finished,
your breath and not breathe?
no, it's actually very relaxing because it opens your airways.
All right.
So when you're finished, then you will see it. If you have darker clothing on, you'll notice it's just a little white dust on your clothing.
What about your hair?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gives
and
you
it
that
just
saltwater
fluffs
look.
right out. yeah, right. So as you're breathing it, it's getting in through all of your respiratory system and taking care of business, really.
Yeah.
It's also really good for your skin because the microparticles are small enough to penetrate the top layer of skin. So it's good for
So wound healing?
to an extent.
Okay.
More for like eczema, psoriasis.
Okay.
Anything like that.
So interesting. So because the healing power of going into the ocean and salt water,
Yes.
it's got to be similar to that in a way, right?
In a way,
Yeah.
it is. Yeah. So
But then you're breathing like you're getting it inside and out,
Yes.
internal, external.
yes.
It
So
also has a charge, right? It also has an electrical component.
to an extent. So we have Himalayan salt that is in two of the rooms, it's on the walls, and in another, in the smallest room that we have, it's on the floor. And that is mostly aesthetic. So it does have a charge, but the charge
I
is
shouldn't
not
say
what's
charge. I
doing
should
the
say
work.
frequency. It has a frequency.
Yes.
Maybe that's a better way to say it.
And you can say both. A lot of people, for a while, we had the craze of the Himalayan salt lamps.
Yes. I have one. I love it.
Yes, and they're beautiful.
Yes, they are.
However, what they do for you is nothing.
Yeah. They're pretty and they're relaxing. though.
Yes, they very much are.
So even when they're heated,
So they have to be heated at something like 1,500 degrees before it
So ours
emits
works.
anything.
That room is hot.
So we do have it there for the aesthetics.
Yeah,
However, that's not what's doing the work for you.
But I will say, you know what? And when you look at history and research and medical things that have stood the test of time, the only thing that really has stood the test of time is the placebo.
And there is that.
Amen. So when you line those walls, the visualization of that, the room and the environment that you're creating is a healing thing. It's not like the jackhammer, right?
Yes,
right.
So part of what heals is visual, part of it is auditory, part of it is kinesthetic, and part of it is the chemistry of salt.
because even just being in that room, and we haven't even seen it yet, but I'm just having this visual where just everything that's surrounding you, the environment, is already starting that healing process.
Yes.
As soon as you walk in there.
So, like I said, the more relaxed you are, the deeper breaths you take.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
so then, yes, you're starting that process.
Is there music?
So we have 3 different rooms. Each room is a little bit different. The larger room that I mentioned, we play music. We play spa music in there. So it's just relaxing as it's playing. That room just has a plain wooden floor with a full wall. That's the Himalayan salt bricks that just to look at is very relaxing.
Yeah.
That's actually my favorite room when I'm not feeling well.
Is it?
But it's our longest period of time. That room is 45 minutes long.
Okay.
So, but it's also really fun just to have family in there.
Yeah.
I've had a few girls' days in there. We've had book club in there.
Oh, that's
There's-
so fun.
Yeah. So by the end, everybody doesn't want to talk anymore because they're just relaxed.
Relaxed.
So
yeah.
relaxed.
Yeah.
Does salt have a relaxation component the way magnesium does?
Magnesium is a salt.
Right. But this isn't the salt that she's
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's ingested. This is just for your respiratory system.
Okay.
So
Got it.
that's one thing a lot of people ask is, you know, I already have high blood pressure. Or
That's where I was going next. Salt has been so vilified by some communities around us.
Yeah.
We've been led to
We
believe
like
salt
salt.
is the enemy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't put it on your food. You don't, you know, although most people crave it and then they're told they can't have it.
Yeah.
But they,
Do you know who vilified salt? The people who make sugar.
really? Why?
Because you crave sugar too.
Well, one is good and one is bad.
Did the salt people do the thing about the
Sugar
sugars?
will make your blood pressure higher than salt will.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? At the end of the day, the people, same thing with, well, they said fat was bad and fat's not bad, but the people who said that are the sugar people. So we've been led to believe certain things about what we ingest that may or may not be truthful.
So the sugar people are the bad ones?
You got to
They're
wonder,
not sweet?
like you just, sometimes people
Sometimes
don't
we
have
like to
the
go down those
they don't
rabbit
have the
holes.
best of intentions sometimes, I'll say
Yeah.
that. But yeah, salt is not the enemy. And most of the time people that are craving salt should be eating salt as well.
Yes.
But the respiratory benefits are what we're focused on here, right?
Yes. So just people don't understand the benefits of it, I think, and they're afraid of it. And so many people say that, oh, I can't go there. It's going to make my blood pressure go up.
Right.
Actually, it's going to do the opposite
It's
because
going to.
you're going to relax.
Right.
You're going to release tension and
Yeah.
you're going to take deeper breaths and have better oxygen intake. So
Parasympathetic
have
dominance.
the opposite effect.
Yep.
We do have one of our rooms, we call it the Sovi Spa because the chairs are vibroacoustic. So they have it's called the Sovi audio system in the chairs. So the vibroacoustic is a whole other calming effect
Yeah.
that's actually been proven to be good for your heart and your blood pressure and all kinds of other things. So
And it is great for the biocoherence of your cells too.
yes.
Synchronize
So,
Frequency.
and
Yeah.
our music is set to 520 hertz. So
Thank you for knowing that.
We were just talking about this the other day. I'm like, because I like the whole tones. Have you ever heard of whole tones
Yes.
frequency? And so I was walking him through all of the levels of
The-
them.
the
Yeah.
different
And he's
tones,
like,
yeah.
as long as it's over 444, that's the healing one.
yeah, so the music is set to that. We have a headphone option in there. So
Same as on a podcast.
Yes. They're optional, but they actually do help enhance the experience. So while you're sitting in the chairs, they're vibrating, you're calming, you're taking deeper breaths, and you're getting the halotherapy. Yeah. And you're looking at a salt wall. So it's all sorts of relaxing and beneficial to your health. So
That is amazing. I love that. That sounds really great. So that's not even your favorite room though.
oh, that one's my favorite room just if I need a break.
Okay. Okay.
Just if I need a break.
yeah.
What's the timeline? How long am I sitting in the, what'd you call it? SoFi?
Sovi.
SoV. How long
That
am I in
room
there?
is 30 minutes.
Okay.
And then our smallest room, we call it a quick sit, but it's 15 minutes. Originally, we had it labeled as Kids Corner.
Okay.
And then our insurance company said, sorry, you can't do that.
Oopsie.
So we now call it the Salty Oasis. And it's a 15-minute room. It does have, you would think it looks exactly like the pink Himalayan salt that you would grind to put on your food. That's exactly what's on the floor.
Okay.
So kids go in there, or adults go in there and play in the salt like they would play in sand and receive the same benefits.
How big's that room?
The size of a closet.
That's what I was thinking. Like tiny-ish.
It's probably
Not claustrophobic.
4
but
by
small.
6, I would guess. Maybe a little smaller.
So does that one also have the breathing?
Yes.
Where you're breathing it in. So all of them have that.
Yes.
Did you call it a halo generator?
Yes.
Okay. And so they all three have that, but they're all just a little bit different.
They're all just a little
for-
bit of a different
Okay.
experience. Yeah.
So when people find out about you, then how often do they come in? Do they want to come in all the time, like daily?
So it just depends
Okay.
on the person. All of our regulations, we're not allowed to make recommendations.
Right. Yes. You're not prescribing, diagnosing, or treating any conditions.
Not doing any of that. So it truly just depends. I have a few gentlemen that have COPD, and they come twice a week.
So we don't treat COPD, but what we actually do is put the body in a more relaxed state so that it's more capable of healing and recovery.
But also breathing in.
The salts that just help with the mucus and everything else that
Dry
comes
some
along
things
with
up.
it. So
Yeah.
yeah,
How do people do like with allergies?
fantastic.
Sinus infections,
Yes.
like perpetual sinus infections?
Yes, extremely helpful. So I personally do a session at least 3 times a week. It just depends on how I'm feeling, on which room I choose to do. I have one customer who comes in. She said that she had 25 years of ear pain. And after her first session, she said it didn't hurt anymore. So she comes about every 3 to 4 weeks.
Because she never wants that ear pain
She
again.
doesn't want the ear pain again. She actually works in a barn. She has a horse farm, so she's around a lot of pollutants and allergens. So it just helps to clear all of that out.
That is so
Which also is on the contrary of all of this. There's a lot of halotherapy for equestrians.
Are there?
Yes. So
For
just
horses themselves or for the people
themselves,
okay.
because a lot of people who use halotherapy are athletes.
Okay.
So the salt helps to relax and expand the respiratory system. So they're able to take longer, deeper breaths as they're working
Can we get a
out,
horse in your
running.
place?
In my place, no.
I don't think so.
So how does that work then for
People have horse trailers
Okay,
that
got
they
it.
have created. So they'll take them to horse shows or
Right.
races, and they'll bring
You guys
horses
see this?
in.
This is so interesting. So our youngest daughter, Grace, who is married to Graham, who is the mother of Honey, they travel the country as a family, and she takes care of horses.
really
She
work
does
with people's
craniosacral
horses.
style treatments on the horses.
Okay.
And osteopathy and that type of thing. So all natural types of things. And she sees all kinds of
Take a
stuff.
salt trailer with you.
I was going to say, yeah, hook that up to the camper, Graham. That would be fun. It'd be quite a rig if they already have a pretty big camper.
Pushing things a little.
No, but I can't wait to ask Gracie about that. That's so fascinating. So people around here, do they have them that you know of, or other places? In the
I do
country?
not. I don't personally know of anyone
Okay.
that has
Yeah.
a horse trailer, but it is becoming more and more popular.
Yeah, yeah. It's amazing how we are with our animals, right? We almost take better care of them than ourselves.
Well,
Most
that's
people
true.
take better
Yes.
care of their critters than
Yeah.
they do themselves.
Yeah.
They do.
Can we talk about pricing? Can we talk about, tell us just ballparking it. If I'm coming in there for a session in the big room,
Yeah.
So the big room is 45 minutes for $35.
that's it.
Yeah, that's it. You can reserve the whole room, and we have 6 people or 6 chairs. You can put as many people in as you want. And
For
then,
$35?
well, we actually give you one person for free. So 5, you pay for 5, and you get 6 or 10 or however many you
Oh,
want in
that's
there.
so amazing.
And then the other room, the Sovi room, because of the experience and the chairs and everything in there, is $40 for 30 minutes. And then the smallest room is $15 for 15 minutes.
Nice.
Yeah, we have packages. We also have a sampler, which is probably our biggest seller, so you could try all the rooms.
Yes,
Yeah.
for sure. That's what because I'm like, I wonder which one I would like the best. Probably the Sovi room.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Well, and Tori is kind enough. She is actually making a special offer for July, and it's going to be 25% off
Any one session.
And then they get to pick a room and
Any session that they book,
Yeah.
if they mention at checkout that they listen to
Saw
the
your
podcast,
smiling face on a podcast.
then they can receive 25% off that session. Yeah.
that's going to be amazing. I hope everybody takes advantage of that. I can't wait to go.
I know we are.
I'm really excited about it. Yeah, it's going to be
So I don't need special clothes. I don't need earplugs. I don't need any gear.
You need nothing. You can wear whatever you have on.
Okay.
I have a funny story.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, share.
one question always is how it affects your eyes, because it is like a dust, right? So really it doesn't. We just recommend you don't rub your lashes with your eyes open. Like when you're done, just kind of brush them off. So my oldest daughter, she works there, and she had a customer come in to do a session, and the customer was very concerned about how it was going to affect her eyes, and she was a glasses wearer.
Okay.
So my daughter told her, just don't rub your eyes. And so then she left her in there and went back after 30 minutes to get her. And she had taken a tissue and put it on her eyes and covered her eyes. So here, the thing is, which is fine, except probably 90% of the people that use that room fall asleep. So my daughter had no idea if she was awake or asleep. She didn't know what to do. So hello. So from there, we learned that we turn the chairs off. That's how we kind of startle you awake a little.
Nice. And that's just in the Sauvé room then?
That's the only room that
Okay, that has those ones.
with the chair, those kind of chairs.
So you don't have that air horn thing.
Oh, yeah, that would be really good. Time's up.
So are there any contraindications whatsoever? Is there anybody that shouldn't use?
So they tell us the only people that shouldn't use, well, of course, if you're pregnant, you should check with your doctor.
Exactly, yes.
Wow.
Or nursing too, right?
Yeah, certainly we don't want to
I
relax the pregnant
don't know
people.
what it would do, but and then people with active tuberculosis, which I would hope they
interesting.
wouldn't come out anyway.
Anyways.
And then they say people with late stage lung cancer.
Okay.
And my opinion is,
Yeah.
not?
Interesting too. I know.
But
Yeah, I was going to say,
Yeah.
do what you want.
yeah, at that point, if it makes you feel better, then why not?
Amen.
yeah, because why wouldn't it make you feel better?
Yeah. And then our recommendation is if you're actively sick, you don't come. However, with the 3 rooms, we can usually keep you pretty isolated. And if you
Okay.
feel like it's going to make you feel better, come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. That's a real healer's mentality too.
Common sense has been put on the back burner in so many ways
very
for the
true.
last 5 years.
very
Like
true.
common sense is out the window.
It's very true.
Okay. Well, this is awesome. What else do we need to know? I'm as intrigued about the salt stuff and the fact that you guys are entrepreneurial in like lots of other ways, and we really
in
should
many
have your spouse come back on
Yeah.
at some
Well,
point.
I'm really kind of curious about some of the other things you talked about, the ears and then your husband's experience. But
Yeah.
can you? And obviously, you're just sharing experiences.
Yes.
So it's not like
My favorite, though, is one of the gentlemen that comes that has COPD. And you can tell on the weeks he's struggling a little bit with his respiratory breathing. And he said, you know what, though? I tell everybody they need to come here. Every time he comes, he takes all the pamphlets that I have on the counter and passes them out to everybody he knows. And he said, people asked me, what's happened? Why are you talking so much?
Yeah.
And he said, because I couldn't breathe to talk before. And now he stays. We have hour-long conversations. He comes for a 15-minute session and he's there for an hour. But
wow.
it's just,
But now he's able to use his voice.
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
been
he can breathe, more than 2 words at a time. He doesn't get caught up in his coughing. And yeah.
That's
So
amazing.
it's really neat. I love when the little people come because
Yeah.
they're, if they have eczema, the parents will strip them down to their diapers and they're in there playing in the salt. But
Yeah, because you guys now have been open almost a year,
Almost a
right?
year, yeah.
So you've got lots of stories and testimonials. You have a website?
we do have a website.
Okay.
It's justbreathehalotherapycenter.com.
And they can go on there to book?
You can book on there, yes, or you can call. And now I'm going to forget the phone number.
No, that's
We'll put a link in the show notes
Okay.
so people will be able to find you.
yeah.
Perfect.
No doubt. And if you've got photographs of the rooms,
Oh, yeah.
we'll put those through
Oh, that would be fun if you don't mind
Okay,
sharing.
no, I can
Okay.
send those to you.
And I love
Yeah.
that little building, that little brick building. I know right where you're at. I've always thought that was just a great looking space and I knew it was a salon, but I didn't realize you had added to it. So just the space itself, I'm sure, is wonderful.
And you had mentioned, too, that a lot of people come in thinking it's just a spa. Like it's just a spa.
Yeah, it's just there to
Yeah.
relax.
They're just there to relax.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that the surprises that
How they feel.
Therapeutic
Yes,
benefit.
they leave and it's such a far out concept that a lot of people have a hard time even understanding. Like, what? You want me to sit in a room with salt? But then, yes, after they come, they just feel
But
so
there's a
much
float
better.
tank.
There are
a
float tanks.
business that does a float tank somewhere here in the Miami Valley. And people even have, when you're near the ocean, you're near the ocean. Like
feel different.
the air is different, no
It's
doubt.
very different. I think that's why it's my favorite place.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like you recreated it here.
Yeah,
In a way.
In a way,
You know,
yeah.
there's those benefits. So is your sampler package called the Salty Sampler?
It is.
Okay. I love that.
And we have salty stamps.
Oh, what's
so
that?
if you're a frequent visitor that's not on a package, if you're just
Okay.
regularly paying, then we give you stamps and you can earn a free session.
Oh,
And
nice.
it's so affordable. I'm amazed at how not expensive that is.
Yeah.
Right. I agree.
We try to keep it so that
I mean,
You know, we
people spend
don't-
more
we
than
don't deal with
35 bucks going
insurance.
to Taco Bell.
Yeah.
yeah,
And that makes you sick.
very true.
Do you know
very
what I'm
true.
saying?
Yes.
That blows my mind.
Yes.
But you're right. So many of the things that are healing aren't covered by insurance.
Yes.
And-
And we found that some HSA accounts will work.
Yep.
So that's been helpful for some of those
Yeah.
people. But yeah, anything that,
I know.
Any other
the
products?
regulations,
Yes.
How do people find you? Is it mostly word of mouth?
mostly word of mouth. We are on social media.
Okay.
But a lot of it has just been word of mouth.
Yeah.
And my little friends that pass out my pamphlets.
Well, I was going to say, how did you get Tori's card?
Somebody in my practice brought
it in.
Brought your
Really?
card.
That's
Do you remember who
interesting.
it is?
I don't remember.
Did they leave it at the front desk?
They left it with me. They gave it
Oh,
to
they
me.
gave it to you.
Oh, that's
they
funny
said they
because
had just come.
my assumption was not that.
Yeah.
We have mutual friends
Okay.
that I thought,
Is it Breckner's?
no, the Combs family.
Oh, the Combses.
wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of all. Like,
And I was going to say, Tammy, did you do this?
No. Somebody in
Tammy?
my practice brought me your
love
card,
Tammy.
and they were talking about they had gone for salt therapy, and I'm like, where? I said, next time you go, bring me a card. So they did, and then Lisa used that to reach out to you.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a pretty tiny world,
I know.
and we love the
fantastic.
Combses as well.
Oh, they're
yeah.
fantastic people.
Well, you're hanging out with a pretty rough crowd.
Just kidding, guys. And you love to travel. Let's just talk about you personally, too. I couldn't believe it. 29 states and 10 countries.
Yeah. So our kids also love to travel. They
Okay.
don't have a choice, I think. So
Yes.
Guilt by association.
yeah. So my husband and I, we just believe that you have to continuously date each other. So we take
I love that.
long weekends away often. But what got us really started in all of it, our kids, we took a trip out west and we visited 7 states. So they really wanted to know how many states that we had been to, how many places they'd been. So we bought this huge wall map that each state that we're all 5 in together.
Okay.
We put a family picture.
Got it.
So we try to visit states at spring break, and then we go try to visit different islands or beaches on a summer vacation. So yes.
At least 2 trips a year?
As a family.
As a
yes.
family.
Yeah. And my husband and I, because the kids are always active, we try to go between sports seasons.
Yes.
To summer.
Do you have a favorite location in Ohio? Like if you wanted a quick weekend getaway that's within driving of and in this state, do you have a favorite?
No, because if I just have a quick, just 2-3 day weekend, I just want to be home.
Oh, good for you. Okay.
Yes, we don't get that time often either.
Yeah.
But
Perfect.
our favorite travel spot is St. John.
Oh,
I love
wonderful.
St. John.
Okay.
Have you stayed in a lot of places on St. John, or do you have one place that you like to go?
No, we've stayed in many different places there. Yeah.
Oh, we might have to talk afterwards because I'm always looking for.
Something new and exciting.
Yes. So have any of those travels influenced how you set up your new salon and also the Halotherapy Center?
So, salt, right? There's
Yeah.
salt everywhere. So that's part of it.
Yeah.
But I'm just a very minimalistic person.
Okay.
So there's not a lot of decoration. There's
Yeah.
not. The focal points are the salt walls. But we do have one picture that I took on St. John that hangs in the entryway. So
Well, that way you can look at it and go back there in your mind.
Just imagine I'm there when I'm frustrated with the building.
And I know your daughter works there. Do you have any other employees?
So we have some other ladies that help out when they're
Yeah.
available. Yeah. We did this summer, we switched to just being by appointment only, just because 2 of the ladies that were working, 2 of the girls that were working graduated high school. So their schedules were changing.
Yeah.
So it's been a little transition for the summer. And then once we get back up and going strongly in the fall, we'll be open most days again.
I got to tell you, I think once this airs, you're going to feel like you can just stay open 7 days a week.
I hope so.
Maybe she doesn't want that. Exactly.
Well, you got to
that
be
would
careful
be-
what you wish for.
That would be a great feeling.
Yeah. Yes. I think it. This will be kind of nice. It'll be fun to see
really is
kind of what springs up as a result of.
Very interested in seeing what happens.
Yeah, and because you know the benefits. Now we know the benefits, but getting other people to know where to find you and find out the benefits for themselves, that's the tricky part.
Yeah, so it used to be that my go-to was if I wasn't feeling well, I would go see Chad.
Yeah.
And now if I don't feel well, I go see Chad and then go to Soul Room.
Yeah.
What a nice thing to have at
dual
your
therapy.
disposal, though. I mean,
Yeah.
what a nice thing to have that you know you can serve other people with and still, benefit from it yourself.
Yeah.
Super cool.
It's very cool. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, I just appreciate being here.
Yeah, well, we really
my kids can
appreciate
be
you
really
coming on.
excited that
You guys should be
I
really
got
proud of your mama.
fancy microphone.
Well,
And then maybe your daddy will be on too someday.
but that's been the goal. And if you've watched any of our previous episodes, the goal is to take people like you and just overlap you with as many people that we know as possible.
Yeah.
If you were doing something deviant or devilish, or if you owned a napalm factory, then we would probably not invite you to come on and share. But when
That
we
would be a
find
very
people
interesting
that
episode.
are doing, good things in tiny towns,
Yeah.
and from Beaver Creek to Xenia, do you live in Beaver Creek as well?
I live in Millbrook.
Okay. So it's kind of a loop.
But still a nice
But
small
still
town.
in that tiny town environment where people can kind of be together and connected and know each other.
And people then do know you. They knew you as a teacher and
Yes.
see you out and about. And,
And-
they know you.
Well, and my kids say we can't go anywhere without Dad knowing somebody.
Do they mind?
We just went, what day? Sunday, for some family pictures in Southern Ohio. That's where his family is from.
Yeah.
But he's never lived there. So the lady that was taking the pictures asked him about a property that he has. They're like,
So
Dad, do you know who she
Are you
is?
ever not working? No.
No.
Well, because you're not even in the town.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we're not there. And he said, I don't know how she knows me.
Well, but that's actually really good for them to see. It's like you never know who knows you,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So always do good things.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a good lesson for them.
I agree.
All right, babe, you ready?
What should people do?
Like, subscribe, and share, especially this episode, Tori. I hope everybody
Yeah,
shares
this'll be
this
fun.
episode with anybody that they think could use a little bit of relaxation and a lot of good health.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
Yay.
Beautiful
All right.
things.
Yeah.
See you next
Thank
time.
See you. Bye-bye. Yay, good job,
Ta-da.
You guys.
How easy was that?
Tori.